In 1960, psychologist Peter Wason ran an experiment that would become one of the most cited studies in cognitive psychology. He gave participants a sequence of numbers, 2, 4, 6, and asked them to figure out the rule by testing other sequences. The rule was simple: any ascending sequence. But participants consistently tested sequences designed to confirm their own guess about the rule, never sequences that might disprove it. Most never found the correct answer. They were not unintelligent. They were doing exactly what every human brain does by default: seeking confirmation, not falsification. 6 decades of research since have confirmed that this bias is not a choice. It is architecture.
Confirmation bias describes the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms what we already believe. It operates at every stage of information processing: what we notice, what we remember, how we interpret ambiguous evidence, and what sources we consult. It is not laziness, it is how the brain conserves energy and maintains coherence.
The neurological mechanism involves the dopamine reward system. When we encounter information that confirms a belief we already hold, the brain releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. When we encounter information that contradicts a belief, the anterior cingulate cortex registers a form of cognitive discomfort. The brain is literally rewarding confirmation and registering disconfirmation as a mild threat. We are motivated at the neurological level to seek information that makes us feel good and to resist information that makes us feel wrong.
Research by Zivakunda introduced the concept of motivated reasoning, the process by which people reach conclusions they are motivated to reach while believing they are being objective. In one study, participants who smoked and participants who did not smoke were asked to evaluate the same scientific evidence on smoking and cancer. Both groups believed they were assessing the evidence fairly. Smokers consistently found more methodological flaws in studies showing harm. Non-smokers found the same studies more convincing. The bias was invisible to the people experiencing it.
Confirmation bias compounds in social environments. Research by Eli Pariser and later scholars documented what he called the filter bubble, the algorithmic tendency of social media and search engines to surface content that confirms the user's existing preferences. This is not a conspiracy. It is an optimization problem. The algorithm optimizes for engagement. Content that confirms existing beliefs generates more engagement than content that challenges them. The structural result is a media environment that amplifies confirmation bias at population scale.
The research on reducing confirmation bias is more specific than most people expect. The most effective technique is not be more open-minded. That instruction has no neurological traction. The technique with the strongest experimental support is consider the opposite. Before making a decision, explicitly ask yourself what would have to be true for the opposite conclusion to be correct. Studies show this single intervention reduces the anchoring effect, a close cousin of confirmation bias, by up to 25%. The brain responds to specific questions, not general admonitions.
A second technique with experimental support is pre-mortem analysis. Before committing to a decision, imagine it has already failed and write down every reason it might have gone wrong. Gary Klein's research on expert decision-making found that pre-mortem analysis identified risks that standard planning processes missed in over 30% of cases. The technique works because it gives the brain permission to access disconfirming information without threatening the identity associated with the original belief.
What confirmation bias ultimately means is that your brain is not a neutral information processor. It is a belief maintenance system that uses information to justify what it already holds to be true. The first implication of understanding this is not that you are more biased than other people. Research consistently shows that people who score highest on measures of intelligence and analytical ability are more susceptible to motivated reasoning, not less, because they are better at constructing post hoc justifications. The second implication, the question to ask, is not whether you have confirmation bias. You do. The question is whether the decision you are about to make has been tested against the strongest version of the opposing case. Subscribe.
Next video, why your habits are